Hi there, everybody! What do you get whenever you take the aesthetic of Earthbound but set it here in the real world, combine it with a political storyline and world building that would rival the Trail series, then throw in some Metal Gear Solid for good measure? Well, you get Long Gone Days, which at first glance you might just think is like an SNES throwback, but there was really nothing like this back on the SNES. In fact, I would venture to say that this game here is unlike anything that I've ever played before. Like the shirt? Cool! I do too! Well, I guess I really should, since I, along with Switch Wicked, the same people who do Super Derek shirts, designed it together! I am happy to announce that I partnered with them to design these super cool, soft, and high-quality tank tops and t-shirts, and they're only going to be available for pre-order for an extremely limited amount of time. We're only talking like 2 weeks here, people, so if you want to get a hold of one and be the coolest kid in the room, as well as support the channel at the same time, hurry on over and click the link below to order them for yourselves. And now, let's get back to the video. You play as Roke, a member of the Corps, which is essentially an underground terrorist unit. And whenever I say underground, I don't mean that figuratively, I mean that literally. Roke and all the other members of the Corps have never seen the surface, the sunlight, rain, plants, animals, towns, or trees. They were born and raised in an underground bunker where they were brainwashed, North Korea style, into believing that everyone in the Corps with them is their brother, and the leader of the Corps is their actual father. The people of the Corps were raised to do one thing, and that is to fight and obey. To do anything else is tantamount to treason, and the punishment for that? Death. And despite being raised amongst all the other members, Roke doesn't really know them. At least, not as like friends. Instead, he thinks of them as comrades, and addresses them more by their military title than by their actual name. It's under this backdrop that Roke is sent up to the surface to fight his first mission, only to quickly find out that he isn't fighting for the greater good, or freedom, or anything else like that. He's pretty much just going on in and terrorizing innocent civilians and killing them for the fun of it. So together, he and the resident medic, Adair, decide to concoct a story and get out of Dodge. But that's not good enough for Roke, because he doesn't want to just avoid this battle, he wants a whole new life where he will never have to do this again. He wants to escape from the Corps once and for all, and just kind of like live a nice, peaceful life in the real world. But that's going to be really hard to do since he's been branded a traitor, they're chasing him down, and he just knows way too much. And hey guys, if you're liking this so far, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for some more great content. Interestingly, this takes place here in the real world, mostly on over in Europe. You'll be traveling to Germany, Poland, and Russia, just to name a few, and just as in real life, language barriers do exist, and it's up to you to scout out locations and then recruit friends to act as translators. A really cool addition is that the text doesn't just appear to be like unintelligible or anything else like that, and if you happen to know these foreign languages, then you will be able to see what all the NPCs are saying before you ever encounter one of your translators. While there is combat, that is not the main focus of the game. The main focus is instead on the storyline, the world building, bonding with your party members, and conducting investigations. Kinda like a big game of Clue, you're going to be investigating to find lost passwords, recover clues to kidnappings, or even just kinda like figuring out how to fix a broken elevator. Many of these investigations are part of the main storyline, while others act as side quests, which you can pick up by just talking to unmarked NPCs. And once you do, the game keeps track of those side quests for you. Unfortunately though, it really doesn't do a good job of keeping track of the main quest and pinpointing where to go or what to do. So if you happen to skip through the dialogue quickly and then you miss a part of the conversation, or you put the game down for the night, go to sleep, and then forget where you were going or doing the next morning, then prepare to wander around for quite a bit of time until you stumble across the next objective. A main storyline indicator or progress indicator of some sort will go a long way in helping to alleviate the whole "what do I do next?" thing. So let's talk combat now. All combat occurs on screen. Encounters are not random, and you can go quite a bit of time between encounters too. All that being said, there are two different separate types of battles here, a sniper mode and a more traditional turn-based battling. The sniper scenes are a lot of fun and they're really well done. You're given a set amount of bullets and then you have to use them to kill a set amount of people before the time limit runs out. I felt that this was like really Metal Gear Solid-y, and it was just a blast. Then, there's your traditional encounters where you attack the various enemies with regular attacks, special skills, or items. Something that I really liked about this was that you don't just attack an enemy and then call it a day, but you actually choose which body part to attack. Let's say that you want to target the head, and if you do, you'll do a ton of damage, but you also have a pretty high chance of missing too, so that's the trade-off. Conversely, you could attack their body and pretty much guarantee a hit, but you won't be dealing as much damage. Or you could attack their arms and have a chance of inflicting paralysis as well as dealing moderate damage. It's a really interesting take on an old formula. All of your special skills take morale, which you might just think of as MP, except it's really not, because if your morale is maxed out, then you will always deal critical hits. But if your morale is 0, then you're weakened and you're always going to be dealing half damage. After the battles are over, you have a choice between a reward, whether that be an item, a new piece of equipment, or some morale recovery. And since rest stops are few and far between, that morale recovery really does come in handy. You can also recover morale during conversations by selecting the correct choices, and that will not only give you more morale, but it will also increase your friendship with your party. But at the same time, if you're a complete bitch to your party, then your morale will plummet. Not to mention how that morale just tanks whenever you're branded a traitor. At first glance, I thought that this was just going to be like another Earthbound clone. You know, those games that I've seen a million times before, but they never actually seem to live up to what Earthbound was. But I'm here to say, don't judge a book by its cover. This is a wholly unique RPG, and I've never really played anything quite like it. It is challenging, and the storyline is politically motivated, and the characters aren't just walking anime tropes either. If you're